How should we think about the early days of stablecoin adoption and use, Cosmo? A lot of companies have announced that they're launching their own stablecoin. Western Union was one this week. I mean, are we going to have these silos where you operate in a world that accepts one kind of coin, stablecoin, and in another world where, you have to buy another stablecoin?
So 5 years from now, I truly believe every single financial application on your phone today will run on blockchain rails. But you and I will probably not notice the difference. And that's the beauty of it. The more that technology advances, the UI, the UX gets easier and more useful. And so we don't need to know exactly how blockchain works in the background. It just will work. And the reality is it could run on multiple chains. It could run with multiple different stable coins. But increasingly, there are many tools and technologies to make that translation between different stablecoins very seamless and costless.
That opening clip was from a general partner of Pantera Capital, one of the largest and most respected investment firms in the world today, managing billions in blockchain assets. Now, the message, it couldn't be clearer. The future of finance, it will be built on blockchain rails. And at the center of all of it is interoperability and stablecoin payments. Now, this isn't about speculation or crypto trading. It's about real-world adoption. Companies like Ripple, Circle, PayPal, Western Union, and many others out there, they are integrating their own stablecoins and blockchain payment systems. The shift, it's underway right now, and most people have no idea it's even happening. Behind the scenes, the driving force behind this transformation is really the base layer rails that make transactions instant, low cost, and scalable while enabling liquidity, interoperability, and seamless asset exchange across a multitude of blockchains here. This is the quiet revolution, a move from today's fragmented financial system to a unified digital economy where money, assets, and data flows effortlessly as information does online. Now, in this next clip, the same general partner from Pantera Capital can outline the powerful trend that's really shaping digital assets right now. He explains how investors' enthusiasm for crypto exposure, it's surged, and in no small way. The Bitcoin ETF, right now there is more money flowing into Bitcoin ETFs than the NASDAQ, the QQQ. Think about that. We're talking about the number 2 index fund in the world today. Digital assets, they're hitting prime time. Pantera's own strategy reflects this shift. Their largest position today is in Solana, which they describe as entering a coming of age here. The launch of Bitwise's Solana ETF, ticker BSOL, a Pantera company, by the way, makes a major milestone, posting the highest first-day trading of any ETF this year. But the story, it doesn't end there. The next wave is already forming. There are multiple XRP ETFs expected to be approved soon. And according to JP Morgan analysts, inflows could be 20% higher than what we've seen from Solana, signaling a major surge in institutional capital into the broader digital asset space. Before we play the clip, quick disclosure here. This video is informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not financial advice, and nothing in this video should be taken as such. Let's play the clip.
Let's bring in Cosmo Jiang. He is a general partner at Pantera Capital. Cosmo, great to see you. So obviously you're still believers. One stat really stood out to me in terms of the notes that I received, and that is that there's more money flowing into Bitcoin ETFs at this point than into the NASDAQ, which is just staggering.
The stat you just mentioned, the fact that there's been more inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs than into the QQQ is pretty incredible to think about when that's the second largest index.
Which coin, which crypto is Pantera most exposed to?
So today historically we've been known for being very early to Bitcoin. Today our largest exposure is actually to Solana. We think this is a really coming of age moment for Solana, and we anticipate really strong demand. The launch of the Solana ETF this week from Bitwise is a really big deal. Bitwise's Solana ETF, Bitwise, by the way, a Pantera portfolio company, launched with the highest day one volume of any ETF launch year to date, and it has over 400 million of assets now.
Cosmo, Tim, great to have you on again. And when you were here, you did talk about your exposure to Solana and the fact that you've got XRP and a couple other ETFs coming through, also in kind of what we would call the more established token space. How about this pent-up demand, though, giving people other opportunities? How would you recommend? Because it's clear to me you're seeing institutional demand that, as you said, isn't just yesterday. It's 5 to 10 years in the making.
Well, so recently there's been this big boom in a new set of companies called digital asset treasuries, or DATs. It's an area that we as a firm really helped kickstart earlier this year and have leaned into. These are companies that are following what MicroStrategy has done by accumulating capital or accumulating Bitcoin or other tokens on their balance sheet and really trying to increase the amount of tokens per share you own.
I can't stress enough how big a deal that is that we have more inflows going into Bitcoin ETFs than the QQQ. That would have been unheard of not long ago. Then you had the Solana ETF, the #1 ETF of 2025 in terms of inflows. And just right around the corner, we have a whole slew of XRP ETFs getting ready to be approved. Analysts from JP Morgan are forecasting that we may see 20% more inflows in the XRP ETF than we even saw with Solana. Further, digital asset treasuries are becoming quite popular. You have them on XRP, Solana, of course, Ethereum with Tom Lee, the biggest and original, Michael Saylor's strategy with Bitcoin, and then you have the companies. You have Coinbase, Robinhood, Bullish just went public the other day, a Ripple partner, a whole bunch of companies in the digital asset space going public and seeing a lot of inflows, a lot of money flowing in, which is going to lead to adoption and acceleration of this technology. Now, back to the beginning of this video, we heard from the general partner of Pantera Capital that you're going to have all these different systems, these payment systems, these stable coins, different networks. And 5 years from now, the user's not going to have to worry about settling on XRP, bridging over to Ethereum. You're just going to do your transaction and it's going to happen. One of the protocols working on a really interesting solution for this is Near with their Near Intents protocol that really abstracts away all the complications. For instance, if you have FXRP sitting over on Flare and you want to buy something with RLUSD on the XRP ledger, you just tell Near Intents, I want to pay this in RLUSD and pull it from my FXRP sitting in this AMM pool over on Flare, and it just makes it happen. A lot of people don't know that just like Ripple invested in Flare, they also invested in Near, and a lot of that has to do, I believe, with chain abstraction. This is a really important concept where the user doesn't have to worry about all these complicated steps all over the place. The transaction just flows through seamlessly. This is how we get to mass adoption. I'm going to play a quick interview here that Crypto Eddie and myself did with Alex of Near Protocol, where he explains a lot of this, how AI will play a role in the future of Near Intents and chain abstraction and blockchain payments. It's really interesting. Let me play this clip and I'll come back and talk to you.
Tell us as much as you can as how that technology is going to be used on the Flare networks.
Near Intents is allowing you to move your liquidity across different chains, and it becomes very, very simple. You just specify, okay, I want to move this USDC from Solana onto some kind of other onto Bitcoin, for example, and then this happens. And then you don't need to, as a user, you don't need to think about how this is happening. Near Intents has its own quirk. It is very easy because of the architecture, to integrate networks. Because of this, Near Intents is probably the only protocol that allows you to permissionlessly swap assets into Cardano, into Stellar, into Ton, into Sui, Aptos, and many, many, many other networks. And obviously, we are already working with XRP. So this is was super highly requested root paths, and then hopefully we will be able to work with Flare also in pretty soon, so that we're going to start erasing the boundaries in between the networks, also for the Flare community.
Because right now, to my knowledge, we're using structured payloads to do this, but I assume in the future, with what Near is, top of the world at, that you'll use AI to kind of, in natural language, eventually get to that point where you describe what you want to do and the transaction just seamlessly flows through. Is that kind of where we're headed?
Yeah, so the structured payloads at the moment are like a necessity. So if we are thinking about AI and AI agents, well, then these AI agents, though, besides having like a brain that thinks, which is some specific model, it also has tools with which it interacts. And usually these tools are like wrappers around the APIs. Like there is a tool around my calendar, there is a tool around my Gmail, and there is a tool that goes to the weather.com and gets the weather data. And the Near Intents protocol itself is one type of a tool. So it is very easy to build an agent on top of this. And I've actually seen people already launching the agents that are performing the trades so directly on near intents. Near intents have MCP available also. So again, the AI enthusiasts already wrapped it into the MCP. So any builder who is looking forward to building some kind of solution that would allow, or any agent that would allow for cross-chain moves of the liquidity, near intents is a ready-to-go solution that is going to work out of the box for you.
That was just a quick clip of our interview with Alex from Near Protocol. The guy is very technical, very detailed, and I think you'll find the conversation fascinating. I'll link down below to the full 45-minute discussion if you want to peek into the future, a future where you don't have to do a million little transactions using different wallets and infrastructure. You're just going to do your transaction, and the blockchain will take care of itself across multiple blockchains, multiple assets. And that's really what the future looks like. So you have to figure it's not going to be about really maximalism anymore. It's going to be about what chains have the utility to be those base rails, to make payments fast and cheap and efficient, to be able to swap assets, all this kind of stuff. It's going to be about the utility in that future, because you're not even going to know what chains you're using. Your transactions are just going to go through. Really, really cool interview. Now, last thing I want to talk about, I don't personally know this creator, Levi, Crypto Crusaders, but I see his YouTube channel's been taken down. I know Crypto Eddie's had some issues with this. Mickle Market received a strike. He was able to get it taken off. We have Digital Perspectives was knocked off, and quite a few others as well. This is a problem. Now, we've seen in the past where YouTube just goes too far. And there's a problem, they recognize it, and then they roll it back a bit, make it more reasonable. I'm not so sure that's going to happen this time. I think it's going to be a bloodbath out there for a lot of creators you may know and like. And the reality is, from what I'm told, is we just as YouTube creators have to change. And that's just going to be the way it is. If I'm going to bring you a news story, it has to be from like a Bloomberg or maybe a top crypto publication, but I got to be real careful there. And I was told, even where I gave my opinion on digital asset treasuries, that's really not allowed. Like, that could be seen as harmful and dangerous, even though what I was trying to communicate is I think these are important and exciting for the ecosystem, that maybe it's not a product that I'm trying to pitch as an investment to you, but I have to be careful the way that I phrase that. If I talk negatively about something or positively about something, it's going to get tight out there, in my opinion, for YouTube content creators. It seems to be really hyper-focused on XRP creators, but I suspect it's going to be sweeping across the crypto landscape here on YouTube. So everyone's going to have to really be very careful what you say and make some changes. And we can complain and say, well, we've always done this and it's always been okay. But that has nothing to do with the future, right? It's going to change rapidly, and we're going to have to adjust. Hope Levi gets his channel back here, and we'll see. We'll see how it progresses. Maybe YouTube sees, hey, we're being too aggressive, and they roll things back a bit. But I suspect not. I think this is a permanent change, and people are really going to have to adjust the way they make content, or there's going to be a heck of a lot of problems. If you know someone out there that's having issues like this, what I would suggest, Gemini, that is Google's AI, it can connect directly to your YouTube channels, and it can watch your videos and kind of give you some feedback. And of course, AI doesn't get everything perfect, so you can't take it as gospel, but you can kind of make your own determinations there and decide where you need to make adjustments. But it's a great tool, what YouTube's thinking about, in my opinion. But if you know anyone that has an issue, let them know. Use Google to kind of their Gemini AI to audit your channel, and that may help you avoid some problems. And nothing's guaranteed. I mean, any of us could get hit at any moment. That's just the way this type of system is. We go forward the best we can. That's what we'll do. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.